This is Lagos, the economic capital city of Nigeria, Africa's most populous country. For more than a decade, Lagos has consistently ranked as the most populous city in Africa and amongst the top 20 most populous cities in the world, with over 23 million people. Lagos, often described as the heartbeat of Nigeria, is a city that never sleeps. A vibrant metropolis where chaos and opportunity collide in a mixture of colors, sounds, and energy. From the bustling markets of Balogun to the glimmering skyline of Victoria Island, Lagos is a city of contrasts. Luxury high-rises tower over sprawling informal settlements, while glittering nightclubs sit alongside sacred shrines. Lagos is home to some of Africa's richest men and is the biggest entertainment hub in Africa, with the biggest events, celebrities, and entertainment industry. However, for more than 5 years in a row, Lagos has consistently been ranked as the worst city in Africa to live in, and amongst the top 3 in the world, only behind Damascus in Syria and Caracas in Venezuela. So, in this video, we shall take a deep dive into Lagos and examine how such a populous city is also the worst place to live in. Welcome to Lagos. Lagos has a history that stretches back several centuries. Its origins are deeply rooted in the Yoruba civilization, which flourished in southwestern Nigeria long before European contact. The area that would become Lagos was originally a cluster of fishing and farming settlements, strategically located along the Atlantic coastline and the Lagos Lagoon, providing both a natural harbor and fertile land for sustenance. The earliest known inhabitants of the Lagos area were the Awori subgroup of the Yoruba people, who settled in the region around the 15th century. They named the settlement Eko, which is still used by locals today. The word Eko is believed to have originated from the Yoruba language, meaning war camp or camp of exile, reflecting the defensive and strategic considerations of early settlers who faced threats from rival groups. These settlers were primarily fishermen, hunters, and traders, and they established communities on islands and along the mainland lagoon, taking advantage of the abundant fish, mangrove swamps, and arable land. The area's strategic location soon attracted attention from European powers during the Age of Exploration. In the 15th century, Portuguese explorers navigated the West African coast in search of trade routes and resources. They encountered the eco-settlements and were struck by the natural harbor, which offered a safe anchorage for ships. It was during this period that the Portuguese gave the area the name Lagos, meaning lakes in Portuguese, likely referring to the lagoon system that dominated the geography of the region. The name stuck, even as the city continued to grow under local Yoruba rule. Lagos became a significant trading post in the centuries that followed. Its inhabitants traded fish, salt, and local produce, and later, European goods such as textiles, firearms, and beads flowed into the region. Unfortunately, like many West African coastal communities, Lagos was also drawn into the transatlantic slave trade. Portuguese, Dutch, and later British traders established forts and trading stations along the lagoon, using Lagos as a center to capture and export enslaved people. This dark chapter in Lagos's history significantly influenced its social and political structures. By the 17th century, Lagos had developed a recognizable political system under the Oba of Lagos, a traditional monarch who ruled over the local population. The Oba system provided governance, adjudication, and coordination of trade, and it helped integrate the island settlements into a coherent political entity. The Oba's authority extended over both local fishing communities and growing migrant populations, creating a multi-ethnic, commercially focused city. The 19th century brought further transformation. Lagos became a British protectorate in 1861, formally annexed after the British sought to end the slave trade and secure a foothold for commerce. Under colonial rule, the British expanded infrastructure, building roads, ports, and administrative buildings that would lay the foundation for Lagos' modern urban landscape. In 1914, the city became the administrative and commercial capital of colonial Nigeria, attracting migrants from surrounding regions and diversifying its population. Today, Lagos's origins are visible in its geography and cultural fabric. The islands and lagoon settlements remind residents of its fishing village past, while the name Eko preserves its Yoruba heritage. Lagos has transformed from a small coastal settlement into a sprawling megacity, home to over 25 million people. But its roots in Yoruba settlement, Portuguese contact, trade, and colonial influence remain central to understanding the city's identity. In essence, Lagos's history is a story of strategic geography, cultural resilience, and economic opportunity. From a warri fisherman to a global megacity, Lagos evolved through centuries of trade, conflict, and governance, becoming the beating heart of Nigeria and a symbol of West African urban dynamism. Lagos, originally a cluster of fishing villages inhabited by the Awori subgroup of the Yoruba people, underwent significant transformations under British colonial rule. From its annexation in 1861 to its establishment as the capital of Nigeria in 1914, colonial policies and investments left an indelible mark on the city's development. This account delves into the multifaceted developments introduced by the British, examining their impact on Lagos's infrastructure, education, healthcare, and urban planning. During British colonial rule, Lagos underwent significant transformation, largely driven by infrastructural development and the introduction of modern utility services. Recognizing Lagos's strategic importance as a port city and administrative center, the British invested in projects that would facilitate trade, governance, and urban growth. Transportation infrastructure was a key focus. The British constructed major roads and bridges, including the early versions of Carter Bridge, and linking routes between Lagos Island and the mainland, which allowed for smoother movement of goods and people. Additionally, the Lagos-Kano Railway, completed in the early 20th century, connected the city to northern Nigeria, facilitating trade in cash crops and raw materials while strengthening the colonial administrative network. Port facilities were expanded to handle larger volumes of imports and exports, establishing Lagos as West Africa's premier commercial hub. Utility services were also introduced to support the growing urban population. The British developed water supply systems, providing cleaner and more reliable sources of water in an effort to reduce the spread of waterborne diseases. Sanitation infrastructure, including drainage systems and waste management programs, was implemented to improve hygiene and public health, though these initially prioritized European quarters. The introduction of electricity marked a major step toward modernization, powering administrative buildings, street lighting, and select residential areas. These infrastructural and utility projects not only enhanced the city's functionality, but also laid the foundation for Lagos's future growth. While primarily designed to serve colonial interests and European settlers, they facilitated trade, improved public health in urban areas, and created a framework upon which modern Lagos' complex urban systems would later expand. The legacy of these developments remains visible in the city's road networks, port facilities, and public utilities, which continue to underpin Lagos's status as Nigeria's economic powerhouse. Education was a cornerstone of British colonial policy in Lagos, aimed at producing a class of educated Nigerians who could assist in administration, commerce, and the broader colonial project. Recognizing the need for skilled personnel, The British, often in collaboration with Christian missionary societies, established formal educational institutions that introduced Western-style learning to the city. One of the most significant milestones was the founding of King's College, Lagos, in 1909, designed to educate young Nigerian boys for civil service roles and leadership positions within the colony. The curriculum focused on English language, mathematics, history, and the sciences, emphasizing skills deemed essential for colonial administration. Schools were also established at lower levels to provide basic literacy and numeracy, ensuring that even children from modest backgrounds could access formal education. Teacher training programs were implemented to create a sustainable system of education. By training local educators, the British ensured that schools could function efficiently and expand across the colony, reaching both Lagos Island and surrounding areas. Missionary societies played a complementary role, establishing schools that combined literacy with religious instruction, particularly Christianity, which also facilitated cultural assimilation. Education under colonial Lagos also fostered social stratification. Access to prestigious schools like King's College often depended on family connections or economic means, producing an elite, educated class that occupied key positions in the civil service, commerce, and local governance. These institutions became incubators for leadership, producing generations of Nigerians who would later play central roles in politics, business, and the independence movement. Lagos, despite being Nigeria's economic powerhouse and one of Africa's most vibrant cities, is frequently ranked among the worst cities to live in globally by various quality of life and urban livability indices. Several reasons account to this. 1. Overpopulation and urban congestion. Lagos is one of the fastest growing megacities in the world. Despite covering a relatively small land area of approximately 1,171 square kilometers, it is home to over 23 million residents as of 2025, resulting in a population density of roughly 19,600 people per square kilometer. This extreme concentration of people in a limited space is a major factor contributing to overcrowding and chronic congestion. The city's rapid population growth stems from both natural increase and migration. Lagos attracts people from all over Nigeria and West Africa. Drawn by its reputation as the land of opportunity, this influx places enormous pressure on the city's infrastructure, housing, and public services. Residential areas, especially informal settlements such as Makoko and Ajegunle, are densely packed, with multiple families often sharing single-room structures. Overcrowding in these areas creates poor living conditions, limited access to sanitation, and heightened vulnerability to disease outbreaks. Traffic congestion is perhaps the most visible effect of overcrowding in Lagos. The city's roads were not designed for its current population, and public transport systems remain inadequate. Every day, millions of commuters navigate jam-packed roads, relying on danfos, minibuses, buses, and okadas, motorcycle, which contribute to congestion and accidents. Peak hour traffic can last for several hours, reducing productivity and increasing stress levels. The combination of high population density, limited road space, inadequate public transport, and sprawling informal settlements makes overcrowding and congestion persistent challenges in Lagos. These issues affect nearly every aspect of daily life, from commuting and housing to access to healthcare and utilities, making it one of the most physically and socially strained cities in the world. 2. Poor infrastructure. Lagos's poor infrastructure is one of the key reasons it is frequently ranked among the worst cities to live in globally. Despite its status as Nigeria's commercial and economic hub, the city's infrastructure struggles to keep pace with its population, which exceeds 23 million. Roads, drainage systems, electricity, water supply, and public transport are all under severe strain, creating daily challenges for residents. Roads and transportation networks are chronically inadequate. Many streets are narrow, poorly maintained, and congested, with traffic jams that can last for hours during peak periods. The lack of a comprehensive, efficient public transport system forces millions to rely on private cars, minibuses, danfos, and motorcycles, okadas, exacerbating congestion and air pollution. Major road expansions or construction projects often worsen traffic in the short term, adding to residents' frustration. Electricity supply is erratic, with frequent blackouts that disrupt businesses, schools, and daily life. Most households and businesses rely on generators, which are expensive to operate and contribute to noise and air pollution. This inconsistent power supply hampers productivity and reduces the quality of life for residents. Water and sanitation systems are insufficient for the city's dense population. Access to clean water is uneven, with many people depending on boreholes or water vendors. Poor drainage and inadequate waste management lead to frequent flooding during the rainy season, damaging property, spreading disease, and disrupting economic activity. Public services and infrastructure planning are also inadequate. Hospitals, schools, and emergency services are overstretched, while urban planning often fails to address the rapid growth of informal settlements. The combination of congested roads, unreliable utilities, and limited public services makes daily life stressful, expensive, and inefficient. In essence, Lagos' poor infrastructure not only diminishes convenience and safety, but also amplifies the challenges of overcrowding, pollution, and inequality, cementing its reputation as one of the world's most difficult cities to live in. 3. High crime rates and insecurity. High crime and insecurity are major factors contributing to Lagos's poor livability. As Nigeria's largest city, Lagos experiences elevated levels of both petty and violent crime, including armed robbery, kidnapping, carjacking, cybercrime, and fraud. Overcrowded neighborhoods, particularly informal settlements like Makoko and Ajegunle, often lack adequate policing, making residents more vulnerable to criminal activities. The city's rapid population growth and stark economic inequality exacerbate insecurity. While affluent areas have private security and gated communities, poorer districts face minimal protection, leaving residents exposed to theft, assault, and property crimes. Public transportation, especially buses and motorcycle taxis, can be hotspots for muggings and scams, creating fear and reducing mobility for commuters. In addition, Lagos faces threats from organized crime and, at times, political violence, which further undermines residents' sense of safety. The perception of insecurity discourages outdoor activities, affects mental health, and diminishes social cohesion. Businesses also incur extra costs on security measures, raising the cost of living. In short, high crime rates and insecurity make daily life in Lagos stressful and hazardous, impacting both personal safety and economic stability, and significantly contributing to the city's consistent ranking as one of the worst cities to live in globally. 4. Social inequality. Lagos exhibits stark contrasts between wealth and poverty. Luxury high-rises and affluent neighborhoods coexist with informal settlements lacking electricity, clean water, and basic healthcare. This economic disparity fuels social tension, limits access to education, and perpetuates cycles of poverty. To conclude, Lagos's reputation as one of the world's worst cities to live in stems from a combination of structural, social, and environmental challenges. Overcrowding and extreme population density place immense pressure on housing, roads, and public services, resulting in daily congestion and stress. Poor infrastructure, ranging from erratic electricity and water supply to inadequate drainage and public transportation, further undermines quality of life. High crime rates and insecurity create an atmosphere of fear, while stark economic inequality leaves many residents without access to basic amenities. Environmental hazards such as flooding, pollution, and inadequate waste management compound these difficulties. Despite its economic opportunities and cultural vibrancy, the cumulative impact of these challenges makes daily life in Lagos difficult, expensive, and unpredictable. Ultimately, the city struggles with governance, planning, and rapid urban growth explain why Lagos consistently ranks among the hardest and most challenging cities to live in globally. Thanks for watching and see you on our next video.